Most people wait too long to make this decision. They come to Palm Springs for a long weekend, then another, then a few more years of weekends after that. They fall in love with the light, the architecture, the pace of it all, and somewhere along the way, they tell themselves, in 10 years, this is where I want to retire. I'm Glen Nadeau, and here's the part almost nobody talks about openly. Waiting that long can quietly cost you the specific version of Palm Springs you've been imagining. Not just financially, but in terms of the neighborhoods, the lifestyle, and the kind of opportunities that are available. So if Palm Springs is anywhere on your 5 to 10 year horizon, this conversation is worth having now. If you have questions, drop them in the comments below. Let's dive in. This isn't really a market timing conversation, and it's not about whether you're ready to move next year. The real question is this: do you want to choose your future Palm Springs lifestyle, or do you want to inherit whatever's left when you finally arrive? Palm Springs operates as a lifestyle market, not a purely financial one. People aren't buying square footage here. They're buying architecture, community, energy, a specific identity, and a very deliberate version of how they want to live their lives. And that kind of market behaves very differently over time than a typical residential one. The pattern I see consistently is people treating Palm Springs as a someday decision, while the buyers who end up with the best outcomes are the ones who started positioning themselves early, often years before they were ready to make the full-time move. Let's start with the numbers, since that's usually where people begin. Over the past decade, Palm Springs home values have grown significantly, in many cases by well over 60%, depending on the property type and location. More telling, though, is what happened when the broader market slowed and interest rates climbed. Prices here didn't meaningfully drop. They paused and they kept moving upward. That tells you something about how this market is built. So when people say they're waiting for rates to come down, what often happens is they end up paying considerably more for the home itself while also missing out on years of equity growth in the meantime. There's also a cost most people forget to factor in: time. Every year you wait is a year you're not building equity in the market that historically rewards long-term ownership. The bigger issue, though, isn't just the money. It's what you lose access to. Palm Springs has a finite supply of what people actually want: mid-century modern homes, iconic neighborhoods, walkable pockets near downtown, certain view corridors, certain vibes that are simply irreplaceable. Neighborhoods like Deepwell, Movie Colony, and Old Las Palmas don't expand. Nobody's creating new inventory there. What happens over time is those homes get beautifully renovated, held for decades, or quietly migrate into completely different price tiers. So if you wait 5 or 10 years, you may absolutely still be able to buy in Palm Springs, but it may not be the version of it you originally fell in love with. Now, something a lot of buyers don't fully understand until they're already deep in the process is short-term rental strategy. The appeal is obvious. Buy now, enjoy the home part-time, rent it when you're not there, and let the income help offset carrying costs. Smart plan, and it can absolutely work here. But Palm Springs has one of the more thoughtful regulatory environments in the country around short-term rentals. You'll need a vacation rental registration certificate because neighborhood caps are in place. Neighborhoods here limit short-term rental permits to 20% of the homes in the neighborhood, which means if you wait, you could easily buy into a neighborhood where those permits are already maxed out. At that point, the entire strategy disappears before you've had a chance to use it. This is why the right Palm Springs purchase isn't just about the home itself, it's about choosing the right home in the right neighborhood with the right rules aligned to your long-term plan. Another reason waiting tends to erode your options. Demand here isn't seasonal or speculative, it's structural. Palm Springs has one of the highest concentrations of LGBTQ+ residents in the country. Nearly half the population identifies as part of the community. That creates something genuinely rare: a built-in social infrastructure. You don't have to go looking for your people here. They're already here, and the community is woven into the fabric of this place. For many of my clients, particularly those coming from cities where that kind of belonging isn't as visible or accessible, this becomes one of the most important factors in their decision. That's not a small thing. On top of that, over 14 million visitors pass through the Coachella Valley annually, generating billions of economic activity. A meaningful slice of those visitors eventually become buyers. Layer in the continued migration from higher cost metro areas and the steady influx of high net worth buyers seeking space, privacy, and lifestyle, and you have the kind of structural demand that consistently puts a floor under pricing. So what do you actually do with all of this? The clients who tend to win in this market are the ones who shift their thinking from waiting to positioning. They buy earlier than they technically need to. They use the home part-time, rent it where regulations allow, let someone else help carry the mortgage, and let equity build quietly in the background while life continues. Then, when the timing aligns, whether that's 5 years, 7 years, or 10 years from now, the home is already there waiting for them. No scramble, no compromise, no settling for what's left over. The key is doing this thoughtfully. The right neighborhood, a clear understanding of the rental rules before you close, a property that aligns with your long-term lifestyle, not just your short-term budget. Not every home works for this approach, but the right one can genuinely reshape your financial trajectory. This approach isn't for everyone, and I'll be the first to say that. If you're looking for a quick flip, or you're trying to perfectly time interest rate movements, or you're generally not sure Palm Springs belongs on your long-term map, then this probably isn't the right conversation yet. But if you've been coming here for years, if you can already picture your life here in some form, if you care about the community and design and long-term stability, then this is exactly the kind of decision that rewards early clarity. If Palm Springs is even somewhere on your 10-year horizon, it's worth thinking through now rather than later. These are conversations I have every week with people who are trying to figure out when and how to make their move. The goal is never to rush anyone into anything. It's to help you make a smart, intentional decision that gives you more options going forward, not fewer. If you want to explore what this could actually look like for your situation, whether you're buying, selling, or just trying to understand your options, you can call or text me directly or use the contact links in the description. No pressure, just perspective. If you haven't yet already, please like this video and subscribe to my channel for more exciting changes, developments, and opportunities taking place here in Palm Springs and the Coachella Valley. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.